Sao đây?
Số 6, chỗ là số 8 mà phải. Ở trước con hổm set up ngồi đây rồi. Con hổm ngồi đây rồi. Đúng.
Good morning. Are we ready to call the meeting to order?
Gì chẳng lấy cái này ra. Ngồi kia.
Nhắc ở dưới này. Cắt rồi. Tắt cái nút giữa đó, put ở nút giữa đây.
All right, we're ready to call the meeting to order. Meeting will be called to order at 10:05 a.m. Now I'm going to take roll call. Sun Chi-do,
Here.
Tam Kai Hong,
I'm here.
Paul Saul Van Lee,
Yeah.
Nam Tan,
I'm here.
Au Chong. Oh, I don't think you have sworn him
I
in
think
yet.
he's not here.
Not here. Nok Bui Fan,
Yep. Okay.
Quan Huang Nguyen,
Here.
Chi Van Tran,
Yes, I'm here.
Man Kong Ban,
Here.
Robert Harrison,
Here.
Aiden Nguyen, Sean Min Nguyen,
Here.
Conrad Gomez. Thank you. Now, we'd like to ask Dr. Quang Nguyen to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone, please stand.
Please put your right hand over your heart for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ngón hai cờ nè.
I pledge of allegiance
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
Now I'd like to call up Councilmember Ho to lead in the ceremonial swearing-in ceremony.
I would like to invite all members to come down for the ceremony. Please come down for the ceremony. Staff, please make sure we exercise social distancing. During the ceremony, you may remove your mask. This will be interesting because I have to raise my right hand. Okay, do I raise my right hand? Okay. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. All right. I, please say your name, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Congratulations, and thank you for your service. You may go back to your seats.
Everybody seated? The next item we're going to do is call for the election of the chair and the vice chair. We'll start with the chair, and then we'll do a second vote for the vice chair. Feel free to nominate who you'd like to have be the chair of this committee. guys-
I am Kenny Wang. I want to nominate Mr. Sally as the chair of the committee.
Second.
I got a second. All in favor? Everyone vote? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Yes. All right. Thank you. All right, so we can move, let's nominate the vice chair, and then we'll change some seats really quick. Nominations for the vice chair.
I'm only nominate Ki Hwan for vice chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Yes.
Okay. There we go.
Aye.
Now we will move the two members to the middle. We'll just need to change seats. So the chairman, I'll move the name tag. Vice chair will just stay there. That's good. Now the chairman can take control of the meeting and lead it forward. The next item on the agenda is just Brown Act information that we provided. You had the information in advance. Just want to make sure that only one person speaks at a time and that we're respectful of others as well. Also, we've had a request for oral communications to extend it from 3 minutes to 5 minutes. If the committee is in favor of that, thus far we have 2 speakers that would like to speak. Is it the committee in agreement to move oral communications from 3 minutes to 5 minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
That's without oral communications. First speaker, Terry Raines.
Good morning. My name is Terry Raines, and I live here in Westminster, and thank you for the 5 minutes. Those who know me personally already know how much I support the local Vietnamese community and all of our veterans. United States military forces have won many battles in many wars in our nation's history, but I don't see monuments honoring all of those victories here in Westminster. If the U.S. hadn't won the battles it had, Vietnamese refugees would not have had this great country to escape to after the fall of Saigon. Over 58,000 of our U.S. soldiers paid the ultimate sacrifice during the Vietnam War, fighting for the freedom of the South Vietnamese people. Of those killed, 5,575 were from California, 10 of which right here in Westminster, and another 40 from Garden Grove. Another 150,000 were wounded, and countless others have suffered lifelong PTSD. You may not understand what it was like to be a U.S. citizen or U.S. soldier during this war. Over 2 million U.S. soldiers were drafted by the U.S. government to fight in this war, which was considered by many to be a foreign land civil war, but yes, also an attempt to prevent the spread of communism. Those drafted young men did not have a choice. This war caused a deep divide in our nation. In the U.S., we endured constant raw graphic footage daily on our news media. The U.S. spent $168 billion, equal to $1 trillion in today's dollars in this war. But most painful is how our soldiers were treated both during and after the war. There were no welcome home rallies or parades, no respect, no empathy shown to these brave soldiers when they arrived back on U.S. soil. Instead, they were spat upon, attacked, shunned, and worse. Where is the War Memorial in Westminster honoring all of these brave soldiers? In Sid Goldstein Freedom Park. That war memorial there was meant to honor all who fought and all who died, all soldiers from all countries and all battles. The South Vietnamese, even locally, wrongly blame the U.S. for losing their war. The truth is, without U.S. involvement and support, including manpower, equipment, training, and lots of money, the South Vietnamese would have lost the war much sooner. Our country may not have warmly welcomed our veterans home, but over the next 4 years, they welcomed over 300,000 Vietnamese refugees into this country with open arms, and over 1 million more since then. This war was personal for me. I had several family members and close friends who served over there, some of which never recovered. The brother of my close friend died over there, and another friend, excuse me, was a POA for years. I'm sorry. I faithfully wore my POW bracelet, and thankfully my guy survived the Hanoi Hilton and has since met face-to-face with the men who shot him and captured him. Shot him down and captured him. The city of Westminster has so many serious issues going on right now. Westminster residents of all ethnicities, including Vietnamese, would rather see city officials and staff focus on more important matters instead of constructing yet another Quang Chi monument. When the city paused the Quang Chi Victory Foundation's monument project, the foundation found a place to install their monument up in San Jose, the true home of the largest Vietnamese population outside of Vietnam. I attended the unveiling ceremony here at La Quinta High School last month, and I was not at all impressed by the monument design, and I, along with most of this community, fiercely oppose putting any more monuments in Freedom Park. The project timeline in your agenda packet indicates city staff is going to hold these committee meetings every week until at least the end of this year, using up precious city staff time and resources. Who's going to do the fundraising and how? The city cannot do it. Frankly, those who want a Quang Chi monument built already donated to the previous foundation, so they probably won't contribute to another one. And honestly, do we really need 2 Quang Chi monuments in California? I think the answer is no. I've heard the chant, "Let it go, ho," and I agree. While this one victory is important to the South Vietnamese, ultimately the Citadel, the entire Quang Chi province, and all of South Vietnam was lost to the Communist North, so the victory was short-lived. The timeline shows 2 meetings in November and December to discuss a monument location recommendation. The scope of this committee is to evaluate and make recommendations regarding the monument design, how to depict the images and messages, which units to honor, and the title for the monument, but not to determine the location for the monument. The location recommendation is to come from the separate Monuments and Memorial Committee. Finally, a reminder, this is an advisory committee to the City Council. No council member should try and influence this committee's directions or its recommendations. And I hope it goes without saying that all meetings of this committee must be conducted in English, no exceptions, other than perhaps to translate public comments, though that will cost the city even more precious resources that we really can't afford. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this morning. Thank you.
Second speaker, Camilla Overback.
Good morning. My name is Camilla, and I'm a resident of Westminster. And I'd like to start out by saying thank you to Jake No and Diana Daubert and all the other city employees who have volunteered their time free of charge to be here. I'd also like to know how you managed to get the utility companies to donate their resources. I'd really like to be in on that deal. I assume all of that to be true since Councilmember Ho continues to state that the monument won't cost taxpayers a dime. So unless all of the aforementioned is true, this is in fact using taxpayer money. This monument has already wasted money and created further division in the city. Council meetings have run into the early morning hours because of this very issue. I'd also like to address your proposed timeline. It is absurd that you would have fundraising run concurrent with design and estimate, as well as monument construction. The fiscally prudent and responsible thing to do would be to begin fundraising concurrently with monument location recommendations and continue it throughout. The way this timeline is set up currently, you're going to be fundraising to try and keep up with construction costs. Before construction even begins, you should have an idea of what your budget is, with a minimum of 10% overage in your funds to account for any changes along the way. Additionally, since the taxpayer shouldn't be paying for any of this, your budget should also include all monies to cover the unveiling ceremony. How exactly do you plan to do this when your fundraising only runs for 3 months? Councilmember Ho, do you intend on paying for everything extra out of pocket or this committee? And in closing, I would just like to remind Councilmember Ho that earlier this year, community members spoke out at a council meeting asking for the pride flag to be flown over the city, which would have cost the city absolutely nothing. Your response was that to do so would be catering to one special interest group, and the council would then have to do it for all other groups. Otherwise, it would be seen as favoritism. Do you not see the hypocrisy of your actions with this monument versus flying of a flag? Continuing on with this monument screams of favoritism. And while we're on the topic of hypocrisy, at the last council meeting, the city watched on as Councilmember Ho cried what I believe to be performative tears about the loss of park land that was illegally sold in 2016. Yet here we are discussing and planning a monument that will once again take away open space for residents to have picnics, play soccer, and just enjoy. Let it be known that I absolutely oppose this monument, but I am looking forward to Councilmember Ho's yes vote on flying the pride flag in June 2022. I'm certain you don't want to appear any more of a hypocrite than you already do. Thank you.
Are there any other speakers wishing to address that we don't have speaker slips for? No other speakers? All right, this concludes oral communication. Next item. There we go. Power push at the middle.
Okay, the concern is the monuments. Monument have to have two items. The small item is the vision and the design. Today we want to discuss about. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay, today we want to discuss about the vision first, and then after that we go to design. If we have time to go for that one, and then. I asked all the speaker, anybody out there have any idea, concern about the vision? On the member, any?
I do.
Go ahead.
Okay. I have some ideas about depiction. When you're creating a monument, the depiction and the design, it should be running along with where it's going to be placed and the acreage, with long-term, view. But from all that's been presented, I'm visualizing, say, 3 South Vietnamese Arvin Marines, the people that were there, raising a flag atop some rubble.
The chair, yeah.
That would give an idea of what has been presented before. I have talked with Tun Nguyen, the artist and sculptor, and not only did he develop the beloved Vietnam War Memorial that we know, but he was involved with all of the committees. Mayor Frank Fry, the Vietnam War Memorial Committee, Lieutenant Colonel Greg Mandeville, and all the other committees involved in it. There's a lot, we're coming up with depiction right now, but there's a lot to think about. But my original ideas here is, say, 3 soldiers hoisting the flag atop some rubble of the building. And I really, when we have the monument saying, we need to include all those that participated, all the branches, all the forces. We need to recognize the American air power, about 7,550 B-52 bombings, tactical sorties, and our helicopters that brought the troops into Quang. That needs to be recognized as well as the units for Vietnam branches. So that depiction is probably a separate committee or something that somebody needs to think this out. Thank you.
Thank you for good idea. Any member of the committee?
Em Kenny Hoàng, Hoàng Tấn Kỳ. The depiction of the Quang Tri retaken monument must be include all the meaning of the true history of the battle of the all South Vietnamese soldier in all every Navy, Air Force, Army, and Special Force, and other supporting unit, and also include all the American unit to support for our fall in the Quang Tri battle in 1972. And the monument must also not judge only airborne, marine, ranger, air force, or navy, but also include all of the infantry unit, division 1st and 3rd division, and also the quân khu 1, the infantry unit like the Phong Quân, Nghĩa Quân, and other force. But must include all the Quang Tri residents who fought for that battle inside this Quang Tri citadel. So, Quang Tri retaken monument must be truly and include all units who fought for that battle. Thank you.
Thank you, okay. Thank you. Any more? Any member?
Yes, I'm Sando. I have one idea about the depiction. Here's the picture that was taken by the Marine right after on the day, September 15, 1972. That's the real one.
We're going to put it on the Elmo.
Good deal.
Perfect. Okay, as you see, the picture with the first soldier with the M16 poisoned up, and to the sky. And the second one with the M16 pointing at about 45 degrees to the ground, and his right hand point directly to the north with the message, "This is my land. If you come, you will be defeated." And the next one looked like this army commander with his gun 45, and his right hand's up, and with the message, "We will fight to keep our land to the end." And then next to him is a U.S. Army advisor with his M18 pointing up, with the message that freedom is not free. We have to fight for it. And the next one, the soldier with the both hand up on the sky with the message, "Freedom is above all." And the right one soldier at the flagpole, maybe that's very dark, but you know, there are one there too. And I'd like to put more idea. So on his right hand, holding a Hennessy with the cap of the water bottle from the army, and he's pouring liquor, Hennessy, to the cap of the water holder to the ground, and with the message to thank you, his fallen soldier, for all the serve, the friendship, the loyalty, the service to our country for his fallen soldier. And the second one, that he bid a farewell to his friend, his body go back to the earth, the mother earth. And the third one, he poured in the Hennessy to the ground and wished to bid a farewell to his soldier. So your mission is complete, so please rest in peace. And I would like to add more to the north, to the front of this, and the ruin and the destroyed T-54 and a cannon 130 millimeter from the north. And that is the evidence of the invader that killed about 2,000 of civilians, who tried to get away from them. And the avenue later have a name, that's a terror highway. Look like Last of Us, we know about that history. And on the south of this, so I would like to have a F-5 from the Vietnamese and US Air Force, flying from with the trajectory of 45 degrees, that on a mission to drop the bomb on the enemy. And from the east side of the monument, I would like to put two battleships from the U.S. Army, U.S. 7th Fleet, and Vietnamese Army fighting ship on the east side, on the ocean. And on the west side, I would like to put a platform, maybe the size about this side, like 63 by 83, and with the roof of the home, the roof of the house about 45 degrees, and inside we would like to put a name of the 10,000 elite Vietnamese troops who fallen on the way to recapture the Quang Tri. So on that way, so we create a place for our more than 10,000 soldiers, 2,000 civilian place to be, and that also the place for our people to come to give him an incense to say a thank you for your service for the country, for our freedom. I'm so glad to see 50 years ago, and no one has something, someplace for them to be, for the people to come, to say goodbye, or to say thank you for our who served the country, who lost their life. Okay, at least, we have finally words for them, so they will be free to rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for. Thank you, motion. Any idea for the member of committee?
I would like to have a couple of words. I agree that the depiction of this. Yes, I agree that the depiction of this Quang Tri monument should be inclusive, should stand for a victory fought hard by the Vietnamese, South Vietnamese forces, the military and the regional forces with the American air power support. It is a victory for the World Freedom Forces, meaning for all South Vietnamese, American, and all the allies whom have fought during the Vietnam War. And that way we can teach our children that this was a process of big victory, and it showed that the process of Vietnamization was working at the time. The process of handling, turning over the ground fighting force to the South Vietnamese with the American super air power to aid in the fighting against North Vietnamese aggression. So and I also would like to second Mr. Sun's recommendation that we change the photo of the monument to depict something that's immediately at the victory, which the picture he showed was the immediate photo taken right after the capture of the citadel with the men standing up and raising the rifles, instead of the other photo which was used by the other committee, which I think it's more of a staged photo later to look like the American Marine raising the flag in Iwo Jima. That photo is a later photo, whereas the photo Mr. Sun just showed is the immediate photo of the victory. And I think that is a better symbol for our monument. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more? Okay, if not, then I want to go. Any? Okay, thank you for any good idea. I want to resume all the idea, the member committee and everybody idea, especially showing bring up the picture. Okay. First of all, the Quang Tri citation had to be started. Okay, when you say the monument had to be started. Okay, and then had to have on the member participate, on the unit participate into the pattern. That's the one had to be included. And also on the design is the later, but a certain decision had to be on the idea. We collect on the idea and on the member, and now here we had to public everything, and we discuss then, and then we submit to on the member and on the audience. Give it to us any idea, and especially it's a focus on the monument, and the monument should be into the Westminster, not somewhere else, okay? And that's one, okay? So that's the one, okay? And also, that's the one I can say, the first one, the monument had to be started in three-way picture. That's the one, had to be. And also, the flag is a lot of discussed about, concern about the flag is onto the ground or flag is up. That's one we will discuss and add on of the audience, submit to us any idea, and we respect any idea from you. That's the one we can say, and also. Okay, that's the one is at the division, and then after division, if you design and design, maybe we will, after we have an idea, and then we go to the design later, okay?
Chairman, if you don't have any objections, we would like to spend some time just talking about the project timeline by our Public Works Director, Jake No. Would you mind if we speak about the project timeline? I think it's important to know, for the public to know as well. Chairman, are you okay if we talk about project timeline? Are we okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Okay, so we'll go to the timeline step. Please help us in the timeline for this one.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and committee member. My name is Jake Noah, Public Works Director, City Engineer for the City of Westminster. I just want to go over real quick on the timeline of this, the monument project. Let me get my copy real quick, I'm sorry. When staff developed this timeline for the project, it's very key, the crucial date that we want to focus, which is the September 16, 2022, would mark the 50th anniversary of the second battle of the Quang. So working from that important date, we established several milestones, so make sure that the committee as well as the project are going to meet, so in order to deliver the project successfully. So if you look at first line, the first row is the first committee meeting, which is today, as we established that. So hopefully at this meeting, the committee will decide the following meetings that we can continue on the path to make the selections that we can continue going with the design, going to the architect, sculptor, whatever the committee decide. As you can see on line number 2, 3, and 4, that's just a space holder for additional meetings if needed. And on row number 5, that's the monument location recommendation meetings that we would like to see if the committee can make recommendation. This committee cannot make the decision on where the monument will be, but you can make some recommendations to another committee. If we can have all of that decided by December, early December, we can start having somebody to do the monument rendering. It would take about a month or so to do so. After that one, it will take us all the way to the end of December. So starting in January 2022, we can have somebody to do the design, which takes about 3 months, and also come up with some kind of estimate That will lead to the next item, which is the fundraising. That's very important, so the committee or whoever in charge of the fundraising will need to know how much the project going to cost. And staff put in right now the fundraising about 3 months, starting in January 2022 to March 2022. With that, we're also going to start when it's a construction, doesn't mean that we're going to start building anything. That means we start putting the pieces together. For example, if you have the sculpture, the sculpture needs to start forming and making those. If you need to have a concrete, so we have to have some architect to prepare the plan, to start do design, give it to the contractors. So those are the long lead items that we have to start early, as soon as possible. So these meetings are very important. The selection of all the depiction, the design is very important, that we need to make it as soon as possible so we can meet those milestones. Once we have the construction go all the way to August 2022, at the end of those, the design or the construction, we typically have some plan to send it to the city. Staff will assist throughout to make sure that we meet all the requirements as far as the building inspections, a building permit, enclosure permit. We will help committee to go through that process. And hopefully with all of that, then we can have a successful unveiling event on September 16, 2022. So that's conclude my presentation. Is there any question that I can happy to answer?
Okay, thank you. According to the agenda, we go to the fundraising, and I don't know before that, we miss any item before we go to the fundraising?
For the fundraising, basically, we would like to see if the committee will have a completed designed or rendering and design estimate. So at least the fundraising, you can start as a fundraising group, and then with that number, how much the project going to cost, then you have a target goal for the fundraiser to start going out there and get fundraising for money.
Oh, okay. So right now we had to do the subcommittee, all the member of the committee had to be involved to the fundraising, the subcommittee. That's the one we're supposed to do with that one. Okay.
I had a motion. Because the quantity retaken monument blueprint must be finished as soon as possible. That way, we need to move meeting schedule early as possible on every Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock. So we need the committee here to approve for that early meeting for next Tuesday, 2 days away from now. So please, Chairman and other member, can we?
May I put it in that for this meeting, every single meeting we have to post 72 hours. So that means we have some restriction as far as the day that we have to put it out. That means if we want to meet it Thursday, we have to post it by Monday? Or
It would be 72 hours.
72 hours, sorry, 72 hours, yes.
Yeah.
So I think on the schedule, we'll put it the next week. The second meetings will be next week. I'm sorry, not
that's
this
on
week, but the week after,
Yeah.
during the week of October 31st to November 6th. So I'm not sure what the Thursday is.
So have we completed item number B? Because that's for discussion. In order for us to go on, we would need for us to be in agreement on what that depiction, gathering input to what the depiction looks like. So we have select meeting dates at the end part of the agenda. I just want to make sure that we're conducted all the business needed for the monument aspect. Because I think we've heard 2 suggestions for the depiction. And I'm not sure the committee has made a decision on what that depiction is going to look like.
Yeah, the item for the depiction is very important because that will drive, how the project going to go, which way, what direction we're going to go. Are we going to secure some sculpture? Are we securing the architect? Are we securing, who's are the designer for the project? So those are very important aspects that we need to make the decisions, or the committee will have to make those decisions on.
Okay, the division is very important. We need to discuss a long time. That's the one to do that one, and before we submit to the designer, that's the one. we do it, okay? In the division, is maybe some the confliction between the idea and everything, but we had to resume on the good idea, and then we go to design. Okay, I agree, and that take a lot of time for that one.
Do you have any other questions?
Any idea, any question? So the next one is we have the meeting, next meetings on the Tuesday, October 21st. That's the one, is the next meeting, and then.
Should we,
That's just the week of October 31st. In your agenda packet, you have a calendar that is a November calendar. to
Okay, I'm
select the
sorry,
next
October 26th, I'm sorry, October 26th, next meeting, October 26th. Tuesday, October 26th.
we cannot do that. We have to
Yeah.
post the agenda 72 hours. That means 3 days
Yeah.
ahead of the meeting.
Yeah, we need to look at the week of October 31st. So basically, November 1st. There's a calendar in your agenda packet for us to look at. So if we're going to use the council chambers, Monday and Tuesday evenings or Thursday evenings could work in this chambers. On Wednesdays, there's a planning commission meeting in this room, as well as a council meeting on the 10th. So what's your availability this week, the week of November 1st, 2nd?
And 4th.
Okay, we discussed and we say, okay, I think Tuesday is the best for, at 6 o'clock is the best for the member of the community, because somebody is, they're still working and get up at 5:30, and then a meeting at 6 is the best, and then,
So 6 o'clock on Tuesday, November 2nd, is that what I'm hearing?
yeah,
Yes?
okay.
6 p.m. In the council chambers. Okay, we can schedule the agenda. Would you like to select a follow-up meeting as well? Or we'll just do one meeting at a time? Whatever the pleasure is of the committee.
That means that every Tuesday at 6 o'clock or every week will be
I-
every week meeting of
Okay.
the
Tuesday?
committee. Yes.
November 9,
Okay,
16, 20, 23rd.
okay,
That's the one we're supposed to be.
okay. We can schedule that. So I just want to make sure that we have discussed all the ideas about the depiction. That's just an important topic. If everybody given their suggestions of what they'd like to see, because that's going to drive this process.
There is a lot more to depiction.
Yeah.
There is a lot more to depiction. We got some great ideas and stuff, but we really need to think deeper about it.
This is the time for that.
Depiction involves a lot of things. Like I was saying, the description, and you come up to the memorial, it has to be covering everybody. It needs to be in English as well as Vietnamese, how we're going to do that. And so I think there's a lot more to depiction. You were asking for the comments from the public. Maybe at a subsequent meeting, we should continue the depiction presentations. I thought there'd be a lot more here.
Okay. Thank you. Like I say, deficient had to be totally the second generation. When they see it, they understand, they know that one is in the monument of the Quang citation in 1972, including the started and the idea, everything. That's the one. So a lot of little thing, we need to put it up. That's the one I can say. So we add everybody on the audience, give it out any idea as soon as possible in order to we put it together and then become the totally the perfect idea on deficient. Staff, any?
I think depiction blueprint must be submitted to our committee at many as possible. We had to select from too many blueprint of the country retaken monument. That way, every people out there can submit blueprint of the country retaken monument to us, or you can email it to the city of Westminster, or you can print to the office of the Westminster city clerk. That's right. So then we select from them, and then we go to final blueprint for the construction of the country retaken monument. We had to select all of them then until the final blueprint. And then we show to the public, and we had to approve it. And then the next step is for construction. Thank you.
Okay, so we are missing staff. Anything today we need to discuss in agenda?
Yeah, if the committee is concluded with what you would like to talk about regarding the depiction and the design, I think you touched based on fundraising. I just want it to be clear, fundraising needs to be of a subcommittee. The city can't be involved in the fundraising aspect. That needs to be a subcommittee. If it involves a committee of less than 5 of these committee members, no more than 5, because then the Brown Act becomes an issue in that situation. So that would be something this committee could either identify a subcommittee to discuss fundraising or select a few members to participate in the fundraising discussion. But again, that won't be in a formal meeting process. That will be a subcommittee meeting reported back to the committee from whoever's leading that subcommittee.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, the fundraising is we had to do the subcommittee, you know. I'm volunteer to become the member of the fundraising, the one.
Okay.
Anybody?
I'm going to write this down.
Okay, Polly will become
Any member want volunteer to be a subcommittee for fundraising?
okay, so the second one is the key. And
Okay, I volunteer too.
okay, volunteer. Polly and Sao Key volunteer. Who else? Maximum we go to 5. At least, you know, 2 and 4. Who else? Son?
I would like to volunteer.
Dr. Quang.
Man? Oh,
Dr. Quang.
I would like to volunteer for fundraising.
Robert? Oh, okay. So,
Okay, 5, already 5.
5.
Yeah,
Already
volunteer for fundraising.
Okay,
Okay, Namtan, so that's 5. Maximum is 5.
there we go.
I do too.
I volunteer. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got
up to 5 only, you know.
3, 4. He would be the 5th?
Son,
Yes.
okay.
Okay.
And Namtan, it's a 5 already.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I have it correctly here. We've got Paul Son Van Lee, Tan Qua Huang. We've got Quang Hong Nguyen, Sun Chi, and did I miss somebody else?
Nam Tan here.
Oh, Nam Tam, sorry.
Nam Tan.
Nam Tam, got it. Thank you. Okay, so the subcommittee was officially formed. If you folks need a meeting place, feel free to reach out to us and we can accommodate the meeting place for your fundraising committee timeframe. All right?
Okay.
Looks like you've selected the next meeting dates. Go ahead.
Excuse me, I'd like to bring up something. I think November 2nd is Election Day. Is that going to pose a problem?
I don't-
That's a Tuesday.
Yeah, that Tuesday evening, I don't know that we would be impacted with that. I'm not aware of us being a polling location, so I don't think that that would be an issue. But Tip, you're right, the first Tuesday in November is always voting day. But as far as I know, we're not impacted.
It's an election day. I'm sorry for interrupting. November 2nd is an election day. I wonder if the city is open on that day for the meeting.
Oh, yes, the city's open.
Oh,
Yes, yes.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, can you state that what is the time deadline for to submit the blueprint for the quantity retaken monument blueprint?
Are we looking for a date, a deadline date?
Yeah.
For the depiction, submitting information?
That's why the depiction, the
So I'm going to
the
defer
deadline
to
to
our
submit
Public
the
Works
blueprint.
Director to speak on that specific item and any deadline associated with that.
The depictions will be as soon as possible. So we have scheduled for the series of 4 meetings to the end, I would say, for the week of November 14th to November 20th. So as long as we have the depictions selected and the design, if possible, and that would help out the process.
Okay. Is it November 28th?
Yes, that will be the deadline, but as soon as the better.
Okay.
But don't we need that depiction done earlier in order to move to design aspect? I just...
Yeah, the designer, we put a schedule right now, it's going to start in beginning of December. So the sooner, like I said, the sooner the depictions, the sooner of the design, the complete package done by November 20th, then we can move to the next phase.
Okay.
So then the deadline you're going to, the official deadline date, then I guess if we could just make that clear, November 20th?
Yes, that would be the official deadline. But again, if this committee, let's say, at the second meeting, if you have a design, or the depictions selection and, select at that point, that would help the process quite a bit because that at least give us several weeks to move forward certain directions. So I would say just as soon as possible in that aspect.
Okay.
As soon as possible before...
We say the as soon as possible, but the deadline should be around on the September. That's the best, okay? And middle of September, we need to have on the resume on the idea of the official.
Not enough time now. 24 already. I mean, a month from now, right?
Oh, 24. Okay, so that's fine. That's okay.
November 24th, is that what
November
we've
24th.
discussed?
So that's okay. November 24. We give it to them a time and do at the time to.
Yeah, the picture is very important. Yeah, we need about a few weeks to discuss in our committee. And after that, when we come out with the one that more than majority accepted, and we have to post out to the public to get our public blessing before we can design and build. The time too long, 50 years. Our fallen heroes includes the 2 American advisors. So we already wait too long. I don't know what it takes us too long to have one for our fallen hero to have place, and for our people to have a place to come to say thank you and to bid their farewell so they can go, to rest in peace. So we try to get the depiction as soon as we can. So our committee, you get ready and go get it.
Okay. So anything else we need to discuss today? Staff, anything we missed?
From my perspective, I'm okay. Public Works Director, do you need any more information?
Okay. Any?
He's looking.
So if not, we will close the meeting today. Thank you so much.
11:05. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Okay.
I thought there would be a lot more depiction. You know, I mean, it's just.
I think we're still thinking about.
Oh, yeah, we're thinking about it, and yet, you know, the thing, you know, they kind of copy Iwo Jima or whatever, and yet, okay, the depictions